All right, Lou Diamond Phillips, congratulations on receiving your very first Emmy nomination in the short form category for the History Channel's The Crossroads of History. How did it feel when you got the news that you had been nominated?
You know, it was so out of the blue. It was random. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't think there was a possibility because Elizabeth Shapiro and the people of history. They said they were submitting me, so all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, I got a horse in the race now, and it's a possibility. But the thought that it could actually happen was kind of slim to none. And I was doing a cameo on a lovely little independent film called Loca with Danae Garcia, who's about to be on The Walking Dead, or Fear the Walking Dead, which I'm a huge fan of. And I was working with her and dressed up in prison garb and with a neck tattoo and slick hair and, doing the kind of thing that I usually do that's in my wheelhouse, which is, intense ethnic guys. Yeah, my manager, JB, gave me the phone call and said, you got nominated for an Emmy. And I was like, huh? So, yeah, very, very gratified and very happy and excited about the whole prospect.
Well, congratulations again. Tell us a little bit about what the Crossroads of History is and how you got involved with this particular episode of it.
Well, first of all, Elizabeth Shapiro came up with the concept, which I think is just brilliant. It's not revisionist history. Basically, it's revising our perspective of history, and indeed, it is a crossroads. It looks at these moments that are factual. They actually happened. They're historical. My particular episode is Columbus's first landing, which was an accident in Hispaniola, and his contact with the Taino tribe, and how that went, which wasn't necessarily good. Taking a very sort of satirical, lighthearted look at it, but the facts remain. The facts are true. I love the fact that the very first episode was Hitler getting rejected from art school. I mean, the whole course of history might have been different had he, been accepted and become an artist instead of, a fascist dictator. So for me, not only as as an actor of color and of ethnicity, but the opportunity to go back and kind of give a much bigger and more accurate view of history. I think it's very important, but as somebody who cut their teeth in comedy and who, did a lot of theater back when I was in college, I mean, almost anytime somebody calls and says, hey, you want to do some comedy? It's like, done. I'm in, sight unseen, just tell me where to show up.
Mm-hmm. So then talk about how, I mean, these are 10-minute episodes and you're in about, let's say, about 5 or 6 minutes of it, I think, roughly. Talk about building a character in a short amount of time that you have.
Wow, that's interesting. What I think is really fun about the Crossroads of History in this particular episode for me. I mean, number one, I was coming in and working with a lot of old buddies. Oscar Nunez, I knew was going to be in it, and he and I had spent 2.5 months together without our shirts on in a mine for the 33. Yeah, you get close to somebody, and you tend to have a lot of trust. Oscar was one of the reasons that shoot was absolutely wonderful because, I was in a mine in Bogota, Colombia, not comfortable, not, glamorous by any stretch. And Oscar's sense of humor and his constant patter entertained us all and kept us sane. So I knew that Oscar was going to be doing the Crossroads of History. Michael Mando, who I've been a fan of for a long time on Better Call Saul, he showed some comedy chops, and most people think he's very, very intense playing Nacho on that particular show. Carlos Alazraqui played Columbus. I did a terrible film with him years and years ago, and knew that he'd be involved in it. And he and I also now do voices for Elena of Avalor, Disney's first Latina princess. So, I knew it was going to be a bunch of buddies, and we were just going to go and we were going to have some fun. I mean, comedy sometimes can be, very loose and very improvisational. This, we stuck to the script, and because it was so well written, and approached it as if we were doing a drama. Just basically let the let the comedy speak for itself, and not have to make silly faces and gild the lily too much. So we played it pretty straight ahead, and the situation, and I think the understated wryness of it all played very well.
Right, and I mean there is an undercurrent of sadness to the whole thing, even when it's funny, because you know what's inevitably going to happen, and it's even it's kind of surprising in a way in the end when you find out that this entire tribe of people is sadly wiped out.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I think, and not to get too deep about it, but anytime you're espousing philosophy, anytime you're espousing something that has resonance, for the human experience, comedy, oftentimes satire is the way to get through to people. I mean, if you try to pound them on the head, if you lecture them, if you're up there being pedantic, people tune you out. They don't listen. But then you look back at the great satirists, in literature, whether it's Jonathan Swift or George Orwell or any of these people, they are illuminating a greater truth by taking a format that is not necessarily direct. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, the show is incredibly funny, but it does make you think, and you go, oh my gosh, and that's the point of history, to learn and not make from those, make the same mistakes twice.
Mm-hmm. So I think what's amazing about this too is that this show also it shows the changing landscape of content, of television content, where you have this these short form stories that are even shorter than the half hour or hour that you get in television. And they're, of course, being recognized by the TV Academy. Can you talk a bit about sort of the changing landscape of television in that way?
Man, it is amazing. I mean, how people, how viewers, how an audience absorbs and consumes their content. I mean, it is a different world. I mean, and I've been around a while, as you know. I mean, I've been doing this 3 decades plus, and even having Longmire now on Netflix. We were originally on A&E. They dropped us for whatever reasons, which I still don't understand. And we're on Netflix now, and people are looking forward to, they can binge, 10 episodes, or they can watch it whenever they want. People who are now discovering the show, and there's lots of them, are being able to catch up on 4 seasons and then, start the 5th season. And now something like Crossroads of History, you've got this snippet of entertainment that somebody can watch on their lunch break. They can watch, walking down the street waiting for the bus or something. I mean, it's crazy that with all of our devices and all of our apps, we're able to take in this content and be entertained. And there are so many different platforms for it. I think it's wonderful. I think it's fantastic. This generation is certainly benefiting from it.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's also becoming much more diverse as well in terms of...
And that's the other thing, I mean, you've got content that's able to find its audience now. I mean, it used to be, back before the 20th century, in the 80s and 90s, if you made a little film that you were proud of, it just got lost. People would have to dig through the bargain bin at the Blockbuster to be able to see your work. And now, there are avenues, there are ways to get your, project to an audience and to get it seen. And on multiple platforms. I just did this wonderful, film, The Night Stalker. It not only, premiered at the Seattle Film Festival and then played, in a limited release in theaters, but, it played on, the Lifetime Network. It played on LMN and is still available on iTunes. So, hundreds of thousands of eyeballs, if not millions, are getting to watch this film, which may have disappeared 15 years ago had it only had limited platforms.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So as you said, you've been around for a while. But early on in your career, you got a Golden Globe nomination for Stand and Deliver, which is still watched. I know I saw it when I was in high school. You got a Tony nomination for The King and I. So I wonder what that kind of awards recognition has meant to you throughout your career.
I mean, obviously, you don't do it for the awards. You do it for the love of the art and for the challenge. And the role in and of itself usually is the reward. But it's nice, I mean, I'd be lying to say that it didn't mean something to me to be recognized. And for the most part, it's being recognized by your peers. It's being recognized by people whose opinion you'd like to think matters. The fact that that I'm still around, that I've had 30 professional years in this industry, and every once in a while it pops up that I get nominated for something or I win something. It's nice because once again, here we go with the 33 and 9 nominations for the Amahin Awards. I'm nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I actually won Best Actor a couple of years ago for Philly Brown, which introduced Gina Rodriguez to the world. I played her father in that. So to be recognized, in that way, and these sort of honors, I mean, not only is a nice milestone and a reminder that I'm on the right path, but it also helps to stay employed, because people can look and go, oh, in case somebody thinks he's okay.
So what's next for you? Any plans to maybe return to Crossroads of History, or what have you got coming up?
Oh man, I would do that in a heartbeat. Absolutely. And once again, the short form comedy thing is absolutely beautiful, because you pop in, you pop out, you have a little fun, you do a goof, and who knew that I would get an Emmy nomination from something that was as much fun as this was. I mean, that's just icing on the cake. But Longmire season 5 starts streaming on Netflix September 23rd. The Night Stalker is still available on iTunes out there, iTunes TV, I think it is. As I said, I just did this little cameo in this indie film, Loca. I'm about to see another little indie film I did with Betsy Grant and Dash Mihawk called Quest. Don't know when that's going to be available to be seen, but I hear nice things about it. And I'm about to start another little independent film in a couple of weeks, which I can't really announce yet because the ink's not dry on the contract. They can still fire me,
Right. Well, congratulations again, and thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. You bet.
Well, thank you. Have a great day.